guys! Welcome back to my channel. So today I have a different video for you guys. I know that some of the schools who are in the semester system have already started probably a month ago, but I do know that the universities like UCLA, UCSD, UCI, they just started on Thursday. So I figured right now would be a good time to make a things that I learned transferring from a community college to a university. So let's get started. Number one, guys, study. Oh my god, it was so difficult transitioning from a 16-week program to a 10-week program because I was just so used to having a lot of time on my hands to kind of absorb the material and get to understand what I was learning, and even just kind of getting to know like my professors, my TAs, my peers, the people that I would normally be surrounded by. So that extra 6 weeks really helped. But at a university, you don't got that. So obviously, yes, you really need to study. My suggestion is to be more verbal in what you're kind of feeling. So don't just go into a classroom and then think that it's syllabus day, because that's what I did. I thought it was just syllabus day, but no, they dive right in. I wasn't really prepared for that, number one. And then number two, I just kind of sat there thinking, okay, yeah, I learned this at CC, I'm good. Or if I didn't understand anything, I would just nod my head and continue on with the lecture. Please don't do that. Ask someone, ask your neighbor if they look like they know what they're doing. They probably do, or they have maybe a different perspective on what you were thinking. So I think that really helps. And then definitely, I know it's a little intimidating, but you should go up to your teacher, go up to your TAs. But I would definitely recommend going to any extra study sessions, anything that the TA does, or any other different sessions that your peers are probably going to come together and do. And then goes to my second point. Point number two is that you should try and sit more towards the front. At least for me, because I know that there's a different setting when it comes to a community college versus a university. And there aren't just 30 people, 40 people in your class, maybe 50 people. Literally the first day I walked in, there were seats for 300 people. I was shook. I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. I thought, okay, yeah, no, I'm just gonna do what I normally do. I'm going to sit all the way in the back and we'll be chilling. Guys, no. I was falling asleep. I couldn't hear and I couldn't see. Okay, those three combinations aren't good. My suggestion would be to kind of like sit more towards the front, middle front-ish, you know? And I think that'll really help you in terms of retention of the information, as well as just like staying awake. That really helped me. Get your friends to do it too, you guys. You're paying for that class. You might as well try to learn as much info as you can. Number three, find your people. I think that is so important. Yeah, you're supposed to get into your classes, you're supposed to study, you're supposed to do all these different things, but I really think finding your people will make you feel more at home. And the way that I kind of did that was putting myself out there. So I actually got a job at our recreation center. At first, like, I got to know the type of people that I would be surrounded by, and then the type of people that I wouldn't want to be surrounded by. It was really difficult. I think in the 2 years that I was at UCLA, I found my people probably late April of this year. So it wasn't like a year and a half into school. It was way more than that, which really sucked, you know, because I really feel that connection with the people that I do surround myself with now. But going through that first couple of months and just kind of feeling lost and you don't really know what to do, like I felt so lost. I didn't know if I could trust certain people, and it was really difficult. Finding your people will also make your college experience so much better. You would be able to connect on that deeper level and just be able to relate to them a lot more, and they'd be able to sympathize with you and get you through all the hardships that you would encounter, and vice versa. You know, that's what friends are for. The way that I found them literally was like putting myself out there. I was actually doing a photo shoot for my graduation with a bunch of the people that I would normally hang out with, and then some of them kind of like invited people that I wouldn't hang out with. That combination was like, oh my gosh, we have so much in common, we should hang out more, which led to this and that. And then now I'm so grateful and I'm so happy that I found them. It sucks now that we're not within like a 3-mile vicinity together, but I feel that if you value that friendship, you would make an effort to go there. So, number 4. Self-care. Let me tell you, when I was transitioning from high school to a CC, I told myself, you know, being an athlete at high school, I was like, okay, I need to get out of CC in 2 years. I need to do whatever it takes. That in my head was like, okay, just study, study, study. Studying is good, but it's not everything. I took that for granted the first semester and my grades really suffered. My physical fitness also suffered. And that led to me thinking that my mentality was also suffering. And so I was like, okay, what was I doing differently going from high school to a CC? And that was just me not being active. I would take that for granted and I wouldn't go out of my way to do something because I'm like thinking, okay, that's like an hour or two that I'm gonna waste or more just driving to and from the gym and then actually staying there. No, that really clears your mind. When you come back to what you were doing and what you were studying, you really have a new and fresh perspective of what you were learning and what you're delving into. You won't be as frustrated, you know? And so I kind of carried that onto my university experience. Find your passion. Sometimes people would find their passions not in like going to the gym and slamming some weights or doing some cardio. You could find passion in doing your nails, painting, drawing, photography, you know, just do something that'll clear your head of all that stress. And I think that'll really help also retain the information that you have been learning for so long. And then if you don't have time to take out of your day to like do 2 hours of something, just go on like a 10-minute walk. Get out of your library, your apartment, your dorm, breathe some fresh air, you guys. Find good housemates. I cannot begin to tell you how much of a pain in my neck my first year was. You at least have to respect each other. I'm gonna go off on a tangent here and tell you my first year experience. So I was actually in an apartment with someone and everything was really good. Like I had so much fun talking to them and getting to know them. And then being deathly allergic to cats, like it's not just the animal that needs to be there. Their allergens can be sticking to your clothes and that'll affect me and I would break out in hives. So 3 days after we started to get to know each other, I kind of realized that my skin was a little itchy and there were like little red blotches here and there. And so I asked her if she had a cat, and it's not her fault. Absolutely not. I'm not blaming this girl whatsoever. My allergies had to act up, and then I had to move to a different apartment building. Moving to my new apartment building, I had to do it in the middle of the night, and then my mom had to come back up to LA just to help me. I really had a good experience with my roommate in that second apartment building. My housemates, we like put a lock on our door. I put a lock on my closet, my luggage, my clothes, my utensils, my cooking stuff. All of it was in there. I didn't put anything in the common area because they didn't exactly give me a good impression in terms of trust. So I took some precautions. But then halfway into that, she was an engineering major, and so she was saying that she was fed up with it and she wanted to go back to her hometown to community college first. And I'm like, okay, when you leaving? And she said tomorrow. Oh, that's good to know. It was not a good living situation towards the end of my first year at UCLA. So guys, I was hunting. Like, it was a difficult task. I found them. It was nice. And we had like a really good relationship with each other, and we were able to talk deeper than I have ever talked to anyone. And part of that was because I never really found my people, like I said, until like this past late April in 2018. It was really nice feeling like I have a second home to go to other than my home here. Get good walking shoes. I cannot begin to tell you how many blisters that I got at the back of my foot. Like, you know those blisters that you get when you like wear new shoes and they just rub against it? It was painful. Transitioning from a community college to a university, you're not gonna have your car everywhere you go. I can guarantee it, or almost guarantee it, actually. So getting good walking shoes, you're gonna be able to have that, like, I guess, motivation to walk to class instead of like Ubering or like taking a bird or something. I mean, those are convenient things, but good walking shoes will prevent blisters prevent you from hating going and walking to class, and it will motivate you to do so. Be a little more active, you know? Get a supportive backpack. Back at CC, I would always have physical copies of my books because I like highlighting and I like writing within my book. You are probably going to have that change within yourself if you like physical copies. You're gonna say, okay, I can't carry like 10 pounds of books all the time. I need to find a better way to do this. Like me, go search for something online on a PDF and just do it that way. But regardless, even if you switch from physical copies of the book to a PDF, your laptop and the things that you would need to bring, like your binders, your notebooks, your workbooks if you need them, it's still gonna weigh down on you, especially if you have to walk so much too. I think having that supportive backpack, the one that I got was a North Face Recon, and it has that solid, like if this is my back and this is the backpack, there's like a solid thing right here. It's like a little protectant between the two, and so it won't weigh you down and like hunch you over as much as if you didn't have something like that. Look at life a little more positively. And I'm still working on this myself. If you know me personally, you know that I'm very much negative Nancy, and I really hate saying that because I'm really trying, but it's difficult transitioning into that it's difficult transitioning into that when you originally kind of like grew up around that. It's weird. I had like this negative energy coming out from me and radiating from me, even though I was a cheerleader back in high school. So normally it'd be like, yeah, all peppy and stuff like that. No, it was very much the opposite. So I think I carried that onto CC. My mentality was that, okay, looking at the negatives, I'd be able to downplay everything so that I don't expect as much from myself. And I thought that really worked because I was like telling myself, no, there's no way I'm gonna get into a school like UCLA or anything. And I even applied for like Berkeley, and I was like, I'm just gonna shoot for the stars and we're gonna downplay it. If I don't get in, then I don't get in. It was my mentality, and that was really bad because I would always like put myself down, is what I'm kind of getting at. And because that's worked for so many years, I thought that I could continue doing that. That's not the case, you guys. Like, just be happy. And it's easier said than done. I know. I would always be that one person that would say, like, I hate my school, like, I hate my life, and I hate blah, and da-da-da-da-da. I would make a whole list of it. It wasn't until recently that I was telling myself, oh man, I'm really gonna miss this school. I'm really gonna miss the people that I surround myself with. I'm gonna really miss my gym. And I just kind of like started to reflect on myself, and I realized that those negative thoughts were really affecting the way that I was perceiving school and my last few months, my last few weeks, and my last few days. Like, just the countdown is just sort of ticking. I really think that this is a very important one, is to not be afraid to be vulnerable. We're living in a society that we're changing the way that we think of things, and we're expressing ourselves a lot more. And I think that's very important in terms of mental health and just being okay with saying, I need help. I'm not okay. Like being vulnerable to your friends, being vulnerable to your TAs and your professors, they're people too. And if you express yourself and make that human connection instead of like having this wall up and say, okay, I'm student, you're professor, and that's just business. If you communicate with them, they will try to help you. And same with friends. If you feel like you are changing, or if you feel like you're lost, you carved a path for yourself, like me, and you don't know what to do with that path, like express that to your friends. Express what you're feeling, express how, like, the different directions that you could potentially go. I think like having that listening person right there and like a shoulder to like just lean on, I think that's just very important. You're changing, you're constantly changing, and if you are changing, then you would want your friends to support you in that sense. And if they don't support you, then venture out and find new people. And so I think like being vulnerable and being someone that being able to get to that emotional level with other people would really help you in terms of that. My experience wasn't bad at CC. It was very positive. I think going to a university was a little more negative than it should have been, just because like I carried my bad habits from high school to CC to the university. Basically what I'm trying to say to you guys is don't be too hard on yourself. It's a really tough transition, and if you feel lost, then like seek out help, seek out support. It's not the end of the world if you can't like bottle up your feelings. You're not even supposed to do that to begin with, but just do it, you guys. So that's it to the video, you guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any other tips for people transitioning from a community college to a university, or just like tips in general and advice that you can give others, then leave it in the comment section down below. And if you liked any of this advice, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.